Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from Zergrino Sports here, and today I will be doing a Superstar Shakeup, kind of a bit of a predictions and a bit of a fantasy booking type thing, a little bit, because the trades that I've made are things that some of them I think will happen, and some of them I want to happen, and some is a combination. Yeah, man, I might as well just get right into it. Now, what I've done is I've gone ahead and I thought the easiest way to do this would be to just kind of like lay out the divisions on each brand, break it up into the tag division, women's division, mid card, and the main event scene, and just kind of go through the complete rosters like that. And then that way, you'll see who gets drafted and whatever. I hate the term superstar shakeup. I absolutely hate it. I hate the format of people just kind of showing up, and it's just inferred that the general managers made trades just behind the scenes or whatever. I hate that setup. I like actual drafts. I like the old way where, the Raw people fought against SmackDown people. Winner of the match got a draft pick for their brand. Simple as that. I liked the even earlier incarnation to that where it was... how did they do it? No, actually, no. I think they did a match-based system, didn't they? How did they do the one in 2004? I can't really remember. It was Bischoff and Paul Heyman, and then Paul Heyman picked Bischoff picked Paul, and then he quit or something. I forget how they did that. Did they do a match-based thing on that, or did they just go back and forth for the picks? I actually can't remember, so that's my bad. But yeah, man, I just like the old format better. I don't like the superstar. Oh, I just moved my mic. Hopefully that didn't get picked up too much. I do not like the new format, but I mean, whatever. I kind of understand why they do it, because just sudden theme music gets a bigger pop than somebody's picture showing up on the screen showing that they're drafted. So in terms of reactions, it's like live reactions, the Superstar Shakeup is better because, when this spoiler alert, I think Seth's going to SmackDown, when you hear Burn It Down on SmackDown, that's going to get a huge fucking pop. But if they had a match and then, they did the whole, they show all the wrestlers' pictures and then they land on one and it's like, okay, that's going to get a big pop for Seth Rollins too. But hearing that Burn It Down is going to get a bigger pop. So I think, I think that's probably the reason why they do it the way they do now. But I think the draft is better. I think it just suits wrestling better, but oh well. Yeah, man, let's get into this. I think on WWE.com, I'm going to do this on how they set it up, because on WWE.com, the way that the champions are listed are the two world champions, the WWE and the Universal, then it's the two women's championships, then it's the mid-card, then it's the tags. So I'm going to start with the tags at the bottom and work our way up based on how WWE has the divisions done on their website, is basically what I'm going to do. So, yeah. So I guess we'll start with the tag division. And I'll do my Raw roster first, and then I'll do the SmackDown roster. And hopefully I didn't forget anybody. It's a big roster. I think it goes without saying that 205 Live wrestlers are excluded because they're on Raw, and the 205 are automatically on Raw, and they're not on SmackDown. So I think they're excluded. I think all the 205 Live guys stay on Raw. I don't like that they do that, but I think that's what they're going to do. I also don't think there will be any NXT call-ups, because all the advertising and the promotion for the Superstar Shakeup is these two brands come together to shake things up or some stupid shit like that. So, yeah, I don't think NXT is involved, so I don't have any NXT call-ups. I think it's just going to be straight swaps. I think I had a roughly an even amount of people going to and from. I didn't actually count it, but I think I tried to keep that in mind. Okay, it has to be a fairly even amount. But yeah, man, let's start with the tag division. So on Raw, we've got no tag champion, so I can't start with the champion. But we've got Authors of Pain. I don't think any of the call-ups will switch. I think they'll stay on their respective brands. I don't think that's a good thing for No Way Jose. I think Vince will get tired of his gimmick in a couple months like he did with Adam Rose, and No Way Jose will end up getting future endeavored in a year or two, which is unfortunate because he's not bad or anything. I think he should have stayed in NXT for a little while longer. And I think he's a brand that's more suited to SmackDown, not in the he's a wrestler that's more suited to SmackDown, not in the sense of like the work rate style, but in the sense that you have more leeway on SmackDown, I feel like, because Vince doesn't really care about it that much. It gets less viewers than Raw, so you have more you have more like room for error, I guess, is what I'm trying to say over on SmackDown. So yeah, that's not going to be good for No Way Jose. But yeah, Authors of Pain stay on Raw. I think Bray and Matt Hardy are going to actually be a tag team. They're in the tag team eliminator, are they not? I think, right? Maybe? I don't know. Raw was a week ago and I forget half of the shit that happened. I think Heath and Rhino stay. I think Titus Worldwide stay, which includes Dana. And I think this one might be... So the way I have things set up is that I have... I think Gable and Benjamin go to Raw. I think they kind of need that. They're kind of got lost in the shuffle on SmackDown. I would like to see them stay on SmackDown, but I think they're going over. Also, I think that the New Day is going back to Raw. A lot of people seem to think that the Usos are going over to Raw, but from whenever I've seen that like predictions and stuff, they always put Usos on Raw and then keep Naomi on SmackDown. I don't think Naomi or Jimmy Uso is going to really stand for that. I don't think they'll, I think they'll push to stay on the same roster. So if Naomi stays on SmackDown, I think the Usos stay on SmackDown. Granted, they don't really care about that stuff, as evidenced by Dean going to Raw last year. But I don't know, man. I think it's the New Day going back to Raw instead of the Usos going to Raw. And I think the Bar are actually going to stay on Raw. If the Usos go to Raw, I think the Bar goes to SmackDown. If the Usos stay, I think the Bar stays. What I'd like to see, not in the sense that... I love the Bar, but I'm a big Cesaro fan, and I think if he's given the ball as a single star, he can run with it. So I think possibly they might split up the Bar and have Cesaro on SmackDown and Sheamus on Raw. If they do that, Sheamus could be a good, utility wrestler, I guess. You could have him in the mid card. You can have him in the main event if you need him there for a bit. Bring him back down. He can fluctuate between the mid and the main. So yeah, but I think the Bar stay on Raw for now, at least. I think maybe when Sheamus is closer to retirement because he's got injury issues, I think that's when they break them up. But I think the Bar have a good thing going for them, so I think they stay together, and I think they stay on Raw. So that's my Raw tag division. So the two transfers there are New Day and Gable and Benjamin. Then over to SmackDown, Bludgeon Brothers are champions. Usos stay on SmackDown, like I mentioned. Ascension are there. Breezango or Fashion Police, whichever you want to call them, are still there, I think. And the Colons are still there. I do think they're I think they might get future endeavored. I think they might be part of the spring cleaning that WWE seems to do around this time every year, where they release a few people. So I hope they don't release them, because they're talented guys. It's just they don't know how to use them. They've given him stupid gimmick after stupid gimmick. They gave him Los Matadores, then the freaking Shining Stars, and then for 1 week on SmackDown they were like, hey, we're going to make you a big deal, you're going to eliminate everybody, and then nothing came of that, so they kind of wasted them. The two tag teams I have moving over to SmackDown are the Revival, because I think they need it. Fittingly, they need a revival. Haha, got him. Look at that wordplay. And Gallows and Anderson. I think Gallows and Anderson go over because I think they need it as well. I don't think they're really, you know what I mean. I think those are the teams. I think Revival and Gallows and Anderson, and New Day go over, and Gable and Benjamin go over. So a little bit of an uneven trade because there's 3 members of the New Day, but I don't know. A lot of people are speculating that New Day might get broken up. I don't know if I'd want a draft to do that. I think if and when the New Day split up, I think there needs to be a story behind it. I don't think it needs to be like, hey, the draft broke you guys up. Sorry, like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't like to see that. I'd rather have a story, like somebody betraying somebody's trust, or I don't know, something. Some sort of story. I don't like when tag teams get broken up because it's like, hey, guess what? Yeah, we're gonna pick you, but only you, so you're broken up. Bada boom. I don't know. Next up on WWE is the mid card division. So I'll start with Raw again. On Raw, I have Jinder Mahal as U.S. champion. I think Jinder goes over to Raw, brings the Singh brothers with him. They could drop down in the tag division if they need it, or they could just stay as his, what's the word? Managers, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. I think Bobby Roode goes to Raw as well. I think Bobby Roode I think he fits really well on Raw because he's got, if they turn him heel, he'll fit really well on Raw, in my opinion. I think he's a great heel. As a babyface in the WWE, he's been kind of, he's not really hit the mark because he's just kind of like, I don't know, he relies on cheap pops, I guess, is what he does as a face, at least in the WWE. But I think as a heel, he would fit perfect on Raw. Be that upper mid-card guy, and then if he gets really over, move him up into the main event for a little while. Who knows? Probably not, because after Roman wins the title off Brock in Saudi Arabia, he's going to hold that shit probably until next Mania. So that's going to be fucking great. I'm going to want to die every week when I watch Raw. I think Dean Ambrose stays on Raw in the mid-card division. He's not scheduled to be back for like a while, I don't think, so I wouldn't expect to see him anytime soon, but I think he stays on Raw, which it won't be mentioned obviously because you won't see him, but I think Elias stays on Raw. I think Elias is a Raw guy. He's not terrible in the ring, but he's not anything spectacular in the ring, but he's got loads of character, and that's kind of, for me, that's what Raw is, you know what I mean? Raw always did have like a few really good in-ring performers, but mostly it was like that character thing. Like the really, really good characters were all in there, and then SmackDown was the work rate show. So, yeah, not to say SmackDown didn't have good characters, but Raw was character-orientated, SmackDown was wrestling-orientated. So, yeah, at least that's how it was back in the day. Not so much now, I guess, kinda-ish. I don't know. When you have Seth Rollins and Finn Balor and, people like that on Raw, it's kind of like, I guess they classify as the few. I think Raw is still kind of the character show. But, yeah, and I think Elias is a good example of that. Braun is a good example of that. Braun's fucking fantastic, but he's no Chris Benoit or Eddie Guerrero or Kurt Angle in the ring, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's more of a character thing. It's more of anyways, big personalities. Anyways, I think Goldust stays on Raw. I don't know how much he'll be utilized, but if he does get utilized, you'd have to presume it's in the mid-card. Jason Jordan staying on Raw. I don't know if he's cleared or not, but he's going to stay on Raw in my opinion. I think Kane stays on Raw for as long as he's around before he goes off to run for, continue his campaign to be mayor of Knox County. Vote for Kane, by the way. Glenn Jacobs. I think No Way Jose obviously stays, like I mentioned before, with new call-ups. And I think R-Truth stays on Raw. He was injured for a while, but I think he's cleared because I think he was in the Andre Memorial Battle Royal. So, yeah. I think Sin Cara goes to Raw to be a part of 205 Live. I don't know why they put Sin Cara on SmackDown in the first place. He'd be a good 205 guy. So, yeah, I think they finally just put him over to Raw, but not Raw, like 205 Live Raw. I think Mike and Maria Kanellis might possibly go to Raw. That one's kind of 50-50. I think he might stay on SmackDown. I think he might go to Raw. It's either or. Hopefully they don't get released. They just had a kid. They just bought a house. So getting released would not be good. I don't think they will release them. I think Mike Kanellis, within the WWE. I think Mike Kanellis is he's a tremendous character. I mean, his work in TNA for the short time that he was there was fantastic. Maria's a really, really good heel valet. So I think their gimmick will work once Maria's off of maternity leave. Assuming she comes back to wrestling, I don't think she's gonna retire. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that'd be kind of tough with a kid, wouldn't it? I mean, you could bring the kid to the wrestling and just have somebody like watch over them for your segment. Maybe, I don't know, dude. Fucking, I don't know. I think Mike and Maria, not Maria. Might go over to Raw. I think Mojo goes to Raw. He's kind of dead on the water in SmackDown, so switch over to Raw might kind of revive him a little bit, and it fits within that character over wrestling, mold on Raw there. Because I'm not a big fan of Mojo. I think I've made that abundantly clear on my YouTube channel, but I think his heel turn was good for him. I think as a heel, he's passable. You know what I mean? So yeah. Plus, he's still pretty early on. You know, he could improve. But yeah. Over on SmackDown, I have Seth Rollins for now. I think he's going to be a mid-card guy for now, and then he's going to drop the belt to somebody in a little bit, and then he's going to go up to the main event. Also, I should mention on Raw, I also moved Randy Orton over to Raw, but I have him in the main event. I think, he's going to feud with Jinder. He's going to lose the feud to Jinder for the U.S. title. I think that carries over, and then he goes up into the main event. But for now, he's also going to be a mid-card, so I'll mention that quickly. On SmackDown, Seth Rollins is IC champion. I think he moves over. I think he probably starts the show like Kevin Owens did last year on SmackDown. Rusev Day, stay on SmackDown, I think. Assuming that he doesn't ask for his release or doesn't get released or anything like that, I think Rusev and Aiden English stay on a SmackDown. And hopefully he fucking finally gets a push. For the love of God, he's over. He's more over than probably anybody right now. And they're like, hey, yeah, but you did it on your own. We didn't make you get over. You got over on your own, so you're going to get punished for it. Because Vince is a fucking piece of shit, apparently. I think Miz goes back over to SmackDown with the Miztourage. I don't think they break up the Miztourage yet. Once again, I think it'd have to be a story thing. But a draft would be okay for the Miztourage, I guess. Like, it'd be like, okay, now Miz has to fight on his own. He doesn't have that security blanket thing. And you could play into it, like, with whoever he feuds with could be like, if you seem to have forgotten that when you got drafted over, your lackeys didn't come with you, and if WrestleMania is anything to go by, you can't get the job done on your own. Some shit like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. Miz and Miztourage over to SmackDown. I think he's much better on SmackDown. I have him in the mid-card right now. I'd hope he'd get a main event push eventually. But that's wishful thinking, I guess. I've moved Big Show over to Raw, assuming he's still wrestling. Over to SmackDown. I don't know. Just to be there, I guess. I think he might stay on Raw. But I moved him over to SmackDown because I moved a fair few of people. If Mike and Maria stay on SmackDown, I think Big Show stays on Raw. And if Mike and Maria move, Big Show goes over. So that was my balancing to the Mike and Maria thing. Baron Corbin, I think, stays on SmackDown for now. Maybe next year over to Raw, but for this year, I think he stays on SmackDown. Jericho is technically a SmackDown wrestler right now. He's just not on SmackDown because he's away for now, but I think it won't be a draft, it won't be a trade or anything, but I think he might return. Maybe, I don't know. He's coming back for the Greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, so yeah. I think Dolph stays on SmackDown. I think Ty stays on SmackDown. I think Big Cass shows up on SmackDown. I think he's cleared to wrestle, so I think he goes to SmackDown. I think Kurt Hawkins goes to SmackDown as well. I think Zack Ryder stays on SmackDown. My hope is that they reform the Major Bros, the Edgeheads, whatever you want to call them, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. I'd love to see them be a tag team again. I'd love to see them get a push. To be fair, I don't think they would because, you got the Revival, you got Gallows and Anderson, Usos, Bludgeon Brothers, the way I have my shit set up. Yeah, I don't know. I think Kurt Hawkins goes over as like a direct swap for Mojo. But yeah, I think Big Cass shows up on SmackDown. And that way you can build him up as a monster on SmackDown. I think he's probably still going to be a heel when he comes back. Yeah, man. Also, if Neville comes back, I'd like to see him on SmackDown. I don't think he's coming back. I think he's just going to wait out his contract and then leave. But I think if he does come back, like now, I think it'll be on SmackDown. I think that'd be great. Put him in the Intercontinental title picture. That'd be fantastic. But that's kind of like a side pick, like an honorable mention type thing. So yeah, that's my mid-card setup the way I have it, kind of. Then over to the women's. So we'll start with Raw once again. So champion Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, Ronda Rousey. I don't know how involved she's going to be because she still has to. She impressed at the at Mania, but she still has time to improve. I don't think she's been training for professional wrestling for a long time, so she still has to learn. Train more, learn more, stuff like that. I don't know. So I don't know if she'll be involved that heavily on Raw for the early portions of this year. Maybe closer to SummerSlam, she'll be more involved on TV in terms of like wrestling. Maybe she'll just cut like promos and be part of like promo segments, vignettes, stuff like that until she's more developed in the ring, her in-ring skills. I think Sonya and Mandy stay on Raw. I think Mickey stays on Raw. Dana Brooke, as previously mentioned, as part of Titus Worldwide, I think stays on Raw. I think Alicia Fox stays on Raw if she doesn't get released. I think Ember Moon obviously stays on Raw because she just got called up. The two people I've traded are Charlotte over to Raw because I think her and Ronda is going to be the Mania match next year for the Raw Women's Championship. Rumors are that it might be the just full-on main event. And to do that, ideally, you'd have them on the same brand. So, yep, there's that. And I think Natalya goes over to Raw. She doesn't really have anything to do on SmackDown, does she? So I think maybe going to Raw would be a nice change of pace for her. Now, I've kept Bayley on Raw. But the thing with Sasha and Bayley is either one realistically could go to SmackDown. But for me, I think Bayley stays on Raw to have that Bayley and Charlotte dynamic. Yeah, man. I think Asuka goes to SmackDown. I think Sasha goes to SmackDown. But like I said, her and Bayley, they're going to get split up, I think. I don't think they get kept together. I think their Raw match is going to be the blow-off to their feud, which is really disappointing because they have such a good feud there. And they're just going to be like, hey, but yeah, we're just not going to build this because we want Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss instead. Because that's a good idea. Because you have two women that have put on the best women's wrestling match in a very, very long time, if not the best of all time. But we're going to put two people who may be good characters but aren't that great in the ring. They're not bad in the ring, but they're not Sasha Banks and Bayley. So, yeah, I don't know. Decision-making in WWE confuses me sometimes. So, yeah, Asuka, I think, is like a lock to go to SmackDown. Sasha, obviously, I think. But, again, I reiterate, Bayley and Sasha, 50-50. I just picked Sasha to go to SmackDown. I think Becky stays on SmackDown. A lot of people are saying that she might go to Raw. I think that's a possibility instead of Natalya, but I'd like to see her stay on SmackDown. I think she could do a lot of great stuff with Sasha. I think she could do a lot of great stuff with Asuka. You know what I mean? Carmella, obviously, she's the champion. I probably should have mentioned her first. She's a SmackDown Live Women's Champion. I think the whole Riot Squad stays on SmackDown. Lana and Tamina, if they count. I mean, Tamina's injured right now, I think, but yeah, Lana and Tamina, I guess, stay on SmackDown. Naomi stays on SmackDown, and the Iconic Duo, the Iconics, because they couldn't get the Iconic Duo trademark. The Iconics, I think, obviously, they just got called up and they stayed. Yeah, man. I don't know. That's... I think it might be possible to see Absolution and Riot Squad switch. And then you'd have a interesting dynamic with Absolution and Paige as the GM. If they want to turn her as a heel GM, she could favor Mandy and Sonya. I don't think that'll happen, but it very well could, you know. It's pretty much just the same gimmick, but a different name. And now one of them is one person short, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, man. I was kind of disappointed that SmackDown only had one NXT call-up, to be honest. Fucking, Oh, I forgot to mention on Raw. Bobby Lashley stays on Raw, I think. He's not on the WWE's roster yet, so I forgot about him. But I don't know if he'll be in the main event or if he'll be in the mid-card for now. I think he could be a good rivalry for Jinder. But, yeah. Bobby Roode on Raw. Well, Bobby Roode, yeah, but Bobby Lashley on Raw as well. But yeah, man. So I think that's what's going to happen with the women's divisions. I think Asuka and Sasha on SmackDown. Now on to the main event scene here. So on Raw, I have Brock, unfortunately, because he fucking re-signed. Nobody wants to see it. 2015, I think people were like, holy shit, man, it's Brock, and everybody loved Brock. And then he's done the exact same fucking thing for 3 goddamn years. And it's kind of like, okay, who cares? We've seen this before. Roman, obviously, because he's going to win the title off Brock in Jeddah. Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman. And then Randy Orton, obviously, like I mentioned, he's going to be in the mid-card, I think, just until his feud with Jinder ends, and then he'll shoot up to the main roster. And I have also put Kevin Owens in the main event scene of Raw. I don't know how the fuck they're gonna do it, but I think he goes to Raw and Sami Zayn stays on SmackDown, but not as Sami Zayn. I think we might see El Generico on SmackDown, and then for a little bit at least, you know what I mean, as a way to keep Sami on SmackDown. And Kevin Owens will go to Raw. I mean, you heard... Obviously, that's not part of the shakeup or anything, but I think that's just how it's going to happen. You heard Kurt Angle say, hey, I have one spot left. If Sami doesn't want the spot, it's open for Kevin. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, going over to the SmackDown main event scene, I have AJ as the champion. Shinsuke, obviously. Daniel Bryan, I don't think you move Bryan. I think AJ Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura is probably the most exciting trio of people we've had on WWE programming for a very long time. I think Jeff Hardy goes to SmackDown and starts a singles run. Maybe in the mid-card at first and then goes up to the main, but I have him as a main event guy. I think he's a main event talent. A talent. He's fucking like 40 something, and he moves like a 20-year-old. It's fucking insane. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, he's a main event caliber guy. Like I said, Sami Zayn. Obviously, Sami Zayn as El Generico could be in the mid card as well. Seth Rollins, like I mentioned before, and Finn Balor, because I think Finn Balor has done fuck all on Raw, and he needs to change. He hasn't really done anything. Now, I may have favored SmackDown a bit here, especially in terms of the main event, but I mean, Roman's Roman, Joe is Joe, Braun is Braun, you know, Randy's a big name guy. I think John Cena's on Raw too. I think he's going to continue the free agent thing, but I think he's going to be a primarily Raw guy as well, so he could be in the main event. Stuff like that. Yeah, so what I'd really, really like to see is, you know, AJ and Shinsuke have their feud, and then Shinsuke wins the feud, comes out of it as WWE champion. And I'll tell you why he comes out of it as WWE champion. Because Finn Balor screws over AJ. And they fight over who was the better leader in Japan. And then we have a cool dynamic where Gallows and Anderson have to pick a side. Because, you know, their original quote-unquote leader, because a lot of the Bullet Club leaders before Cody, I guess, or it would say, there's no leader of the Bullet Club. But Finn, is the OG, and then Uncle Alan, your boy, Uncle Alan Jones Styles, he's he was the other leader. So you'd have a cool dynamic where Gallows and Anderson have to like pick between them. I don't know. I just really want to see like a Bullet Club themed rivalry amongst the members there. It puts the title on Shinsuke, and if the title is on Shinsuke, we can have we can have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Daniel fucking Bryan for the WWE Championship inside the WWE. Who the fuck does not want to see that? You know what I mean? Like, that'd be fucking insane. And then you could have Seth fight whoever wins that, or Finn, or Jeff, or Sami Zayn, or move Rusev up, or move Miz up. If Bryan wins it off Shinsuke, move the Miz up and have him cheat to win it off Bryan, and it would be so good. And they have so many... The way I've set this up, SmackDown has so many opportunities to fucking just blow everybody's minds. And Raw does too, in the Raw way, because the Raw way is, characters. You know what I mean? Braun's a fucking crazy guy. Roman's a piece of shit that nobody wants to like, but Vince is like, hey, please like him. You got Jinder as a character. Bobby Roode as a heel character would be great. You got this roster full of characters, and then you got the roster full of the work rate guys. So, yeah, I I may have favored SmackDown, but I think more or less this is what we'll see. Obviously, things like the Usos and the Bar are, dependable. I think New Day was kind of a 50-50 that I chose. I think Natalya might not, maybe Bayley or Sasha could be switched. Becky or Natalya could be switched as to who leaves, stuff like that. But I think, in terms of, I think most of the picks I made are kind of realistic as to what will happen. And yeah, man, this was kind of a prediction of... This was kind of a video that was a mix of my predictions as to what I'll see happen and what I want to see happen. I tried to lean more on the predictions side, but obviously with the Finn Balor and stuff, I think Finn Balor does go over. I think over to SmackDown. I think I'm just... The Bullet Club rivalry is what I want to happen, but I think he does move over. I think Gallows and Anderson do move over. I think the Revival is a good shout to move over. So... Yeah, man. So that was my Superstar Shakeup 20... What year is it? 2018. Wow, dude. This is fucking April, and I don't know what year it is. Holy fuck. Okay, so, yeah, man. That was my Superstar Shakeup 2018 predictions video. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, share all your friends, all that good shit. Let me know what you guys think will happen down in the comments below. Let me know if you agree with my picks or disagree with them or... whatever. Let me know if you think there will be any NXT call-ups. I don't think there will be, but, WWE, it's time to shake it up, dude. They might do whatever the fuck they want. If there is a call-up, I think it might be Cien Almas to SmackDown, if there is a call-up, but I don't think there will be one. Or he could go to Raw, honestly. Yeah, man. Yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Yeah, man, like, subscribe, share all your friends, all that good shit. Be sure to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon so you never miss an upload, because apparently YouTube doesn't fucking show all my videos for some reason in the sub boxes. So yeah, man. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share all your friends, all that good shit. And I'll see you guys next time.